Hey everyone, this is Sean. Welcome back to my channel. This video is going to generate a lot of dislikes from the upper echelon of society. Please do me a favor, press the like button, subscribe, share, comment. Appreciate all the comments and I appreciate all the dialogue. If you guys will, I don't think it's a good idea to watch the screen because I have nothing to show you on camera. So today, I want to talk about some crazy information that I found out last night. Last night, I was working on some projects and I always get sidetracked. So I found a private patrol operator qualified manager questionnaire online and I found the results. So every 2 years, BSIS, also known as the Bureau of Security Investigative Services, they do a market analysis of the current workplace trends out there. And based on those workplace trends and issues, they will change around the qualified manager private patrol operator exam. By the way, if you're chiming in from another state, you might be wondering, what does that have to do with me? Well, we'll be talking about surveys and what happens if you fill out a survey. I don't want what happened to us in California happen to you. This is breaking information, actually, breaking news. So what we find out is that 140 qualified managers, this is the 2021 survey. We found out that 141 qualified managers for private security companies fill out the survey. And I fill out the survey before, and it usually takes 15, 20 minutes. And based on those results, or depending on what the results are, that will depend on whether some of the test questions get changed around on the BSIS, Private Patrol Operator Qualified Manager exam. And the exam questions usually stay the same. They just change around the facts. But if you're able to apply the rule of law to just about any fact pattern, you should get the answer right. So check this out. We found that 49.6% of qualified managers in the 140 qualified manager survey had security guard experience. That was the majority of their experience was security. We found out that 13.5, now listen to these percentages. We found out 13.5% were former military. We find out that 27.7% are former law enforcement. And then we find out that 8.5% are former in-house proprietary security officers. Sean, what are you getting at? And we'll get to that in a minute. What BSIS did is they basically thanked everybody for allowing us to know what kind of background you had before you got into being a qualified manager. But what they essentially did is they have identified 46% of those surveyed and have found out or realized that 46% is competition. That's essentially your competition. You see, I don't have no evidence, but I will say this. At least this calls for some more investigation. Allied Universal has an intelligence branch connected to them. They do what's called market intelligence. That's the same thing that you should be doing if you start a private security company. I believe that it's very probable that Allied Universal probably used this market intelligence as a way to eliminate 46%, at least 46% of their population. At least. Or 46% of the competition out there. You see, 13.5% was military, right? Well, this is a rough estimate. Only about 18% of military personnel are officers. So from that number, I get about somewhere between 2 or 3% of those who identify themselves as military had actual military officer experience. And why I bring that up as in a sense of relevancy is because with AB 1244, if you're a grunt or you're a non-commissioned officer, you can't qualify unless you have some clear and convincing evidence that you were engaged in a managerial or administrative role. That's after January 1st of 2025. So when you total 27.7%, 8.5%, and then roughly about 10%, you get 46% of the competition can essentially be eliminated. So come AB 1244, which passed already in October, if you are that 10% of military, you can't qualify for your qualified manager license anymore unless there's strict requirements met. All the 27.7% of law enforcement, you can't qualify either. And then the 8.5% that has the proprietary in-house security experience, you can't qualify. So I think BSIS bamboozled those of you who did the survey, because what they did is they published this, and we have the large security companies that have access to this report, and they have easily identified most likely 46% of their competition comes from these backgrounds. So how about we draft legislation that prevents 46% of the competitors out there from even having a shot of getting their private patrol operator qualified manager license? If you want to own a security company in California, you need to have a private patrol operator license, and you need to have a private patrol operator qualified manager license. Those are two things that need to be met. I don't know. What do you guys feel about this? I mean, you participate in the survey, and all of a sudden, 2 years later, you get this law that's passed, and those who did the survey, 46% of them who did the survey, if they were to reapply for a qualified manager license after January 1st of 2025, they wouldn't qualify anymore. So it's kind of like, why did they even fill out the survey to begin with? Well, they want to help. You guys want to help. I admit that I participated in these surveys maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, but BSIS, I'm talking to you directly, this is not a good policy. If you want people to participate in your surveys, you cannot create or facilitate legislation that's designed to work against them. It's going to prevent other people from doing surveys. I don't trust you guys at BSIS anymore. I don't. This is crazy. This is ludicrous. You participate in a survey, and then 46% of your population gets screwed over because they can't apply for a qualified manager license. What are we going to do about this? And guys and gals, if you type in AB 1244 in Google, there's really only two people, their social media that pops up. It's mine and David from the Security Guard Command. That's it. We have about 12 people that really fought against this. They made phone calls to the California state legislator, and then they showed up. But that's not enough. Guys and gals, we are fighting over CalSAGA, okay, with an organization that has an easy $3 million of donations that come in based on the membership fees. And according to CalSAGA bylaws, I think about 42% of that can be used for lobbying efforts. That's clearly stated in the CalSAGA. I lost my train of thought. Their policies and procedures, their MOU that they have with the members. I'm angry and I'm also frustrated with a lot of you guys that are listening. I mean, not everybody, but you guys have to do your part as well. Like, once again, we are fighting with an organization that has well over $3 million to spend on itself. And those of you who attended the CalSAGA meeting, that was over 3 days in the Palm Desert, Rancho Mirage area. You paid, I don't know, was it $200, $300 to attend, and you attended because of the networking opportunities. I totally get that. But don't you think that that event should be free? Like, don't you think that you should have been able to respond to CalSAGA on a first come, first served basis, and that event for you should have been free? Because once again, they have at least $3 million in membership dues that can go to 42% can go to lobbying efforts. So that means that we have 58% that can be used for other events. Obviously, we know that they have to pay for rent, and there's operating cost with having a membership. But don't you think that these events should be free to you guys? And then yet you're paying. Ask yourself, was your dinner worth it? Was your dinner worth it? We also learned that that Ally Universal funded the open bar. It's just unbelievable, guys and gals. It really makes me sick that CalSAGA advertised that they represent the private security industry. I don't know if you guys know this, but I mentioned this in other videos, that you cannot be a CalSAGA member if you are an individual security guard. If you're an individual security officer, you cannot join as a CalSAGA member. They voted to eliminate that years ago. I asked David Chandler, we made a phone call. I talked to him, and he said that he would ask about allowing private security guards in joining their organization. And guess what? I haven't heard anything since. David Chandler, I know that you watch my videos. When am I going to get an answer? I mean, it's obvious. Why would you want the individual security guard to join CalSAGA? If there's any type of vote, well, you get a bunch of security guards out there that's going to easily, I think they have 350 members. On this channel, we can easily recruit over 300 and something security guards to join CalSAGA. With regards to voting rights, that number can outvote the wills and wants of the security guard companies that are connected with CalSAGA. In my opinion, that's why they're not allowing security guards to join in as members. And if they're members, they're not going to get that vote. I highly doubt that they're going to get that voting power. Those of you who are just chiming in, watch the video to the beginning. I found a market survey for the qualified manager exam that shows that 13.5% of the respondents were prior military, 27.7% were prior law enforcement, and 8.5% were prior in-house private security. When you total those numbers up, and we consider that 18% of military are actual military officers, and that only about 2 to 3% of the 13.5% of military would be military officers, we have a number of 46%. This report was published publicly, and the United States, the world, knew that 46% of those who qualified for the qualified manager exam in California fell into those categories. AB 1244 eliminated a significant amount of those categories. Had AB 1244 been the law 2 years ago, 46% of those surveyed wouldn't even be able to survey. I believe that the higher ups, the higher echelon in security saw this survey and realized, wait a minute, we just identified 46% of the population out there fell into those categories. How about we eliminate our competition by making a law that excludes 46% of that population? And guys and gals, 49.6% of those surveyed have security guard experience. We don't know if it's administrative experience. We don't know if the experience is managerial. We don't know if it's non-supervisory experience. But what we do know is a significant amount of that 46% doesn't have any of that experience. Okay? So that's all I got, guys and gals. Let me know what your thoughts are on this, your opinions. You guys got to get involved. Stop being scared. You got to start calling out these security companies. I mean, calling them on the phone, asking them, why did you support AB 1244? You just ruined my life. You ruined my career expectations, and now I have to go overcome other obstacles. Talk to them on the social media. You guys have to get out there. I can't be the only person out there on social media, and David from the Security Guard channel, we cannot be the only people on social media pitching this, fighting for everyone's rights. I am technically not even in security, but for some reason, I just can't stop this fight. It's just been bothering me. We need those of you who are actually in security fighting the good fight. It's pretty frustrating. Sometimes I want to just throw in the towel and have you guys fight this fight, because this is too much. I spend so much time out of my day and time. So does Dave from the Security Guard channel, fighting the good fight. And it's frustrating knowing that we're up against a huge giant that has over $3 million. That provides $3 million to an organization. How do we even compete with that? All I'm asking for is to get to $80,000 so that we have a fighting chance. And so far, we have pledged about $5,000 of subscribers, and people that we know have pledged $5,000 if we ask for that money, like right now. That's not enough. I mean, it's a lot of money, but it's not enough. And I will not accept a dime unless we have clear objectives on how we are going to fight this injustice. I'm not going to just take it. I'm not even set up for a charity. We're not set up for a charity. So if I were to take in that $5,000, it'd be shown as revenue. So that's why, like right now, I don't want to touch a dime. I mean, we're going to need to get a nonprofit, and we need clear objectives, because without those objectives, we're not going to get as much money that we need for the fight. I think it's really sad that we can only get $5,000 in that's pledged to us, and we need $80,000. There's a lot of small security companies. When I mean small, I mean maybe they have 100 or 200 that can provide all $80,000. And unfortunately, they benefit from us, from the grassroots effort in fighting this good fight. So that's all I got, guys and gals. I'm looking forward to the dialogue. All right, take care.